Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we did it.
I said, here we go. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
It's Thursday night. You know what that means. The Comics Pals are live for Pals Pulls. I am Sean, joined by the usual pals, Marco,
Beep, 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 beep.
Kale,
Quack.
and Tyler.
I'm gonna come.
God.
I knew you were gonna do that, and I'm so glad that you did. I just knew it.
I had it ready.
Yeah.
I feel like you teed me up for that.
Yeah, that was for you, man. This is a huge week in comics, and we could only fit 4 of the books in. I actually read Rogues #2 because I was so excited for that. I forgot to read Swamp Thing, but I got it done. We're here. We're ready. We're talking Death of the Justice League. So Justice League number 75.
They died?
What?
Like, spoilers, dog.
Whoa.
The Swamp Thing number 12, the
Ooh.
superior cover. Yes.
Ooh, who's that by?
I don't know, man. That A cover is pretty good.
It
That was
is
tight.
good. It is good, but this is
Who's the
quite
artist in that one? Is that Matina?
there's no credit for the alt
I'll
cover.
figure it out. I got you.
Yeah, you do that. But yeah, no cover, no credit on the cover.
Oh, Liam
but
Sharp.
okay, there you go.
Oh, that's Liam Sharp.
Um,
Oh shit.
We've got
Okay.
the Amazing Spider-Man #1. You know I had to do it. Had to get that stanky leg cover.
Yeah, there we go.
Talk about that.
Gotta tell you, not loving the cover choices for Amazing Spider-Man #1.
They were lacking.
Yeah, I thought they could have gone harder. They could have come harder with that one. And then Knights of X #1.
They could have come harder for it.
Indeed.
Yep.
So first off, just out the gate, strong week for comics. Lots of really, really cool stuff this week. So please do share your pulls with us. We probably could have done like another 3 or 4 books in terms of how big this week was. Share your pulls with us. If you're in Twitch right now with us live, say hello. Hello, Trap Zord. Hello, the Medic. Thank you guys for joining and hanging out with us. If you want to be a part of this as a live show, you can always do that by joining us on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern for Pals Pulls. Saturday mornings, you can start your weekend with the Comics Pals by joining us at 10:15 a.m. for the main show. This week, I think that we saw some footage from The Flash at CinemaCon, right? We're going to be talking about that. I mean, they didn't talk about The Flash. They talked about Michael Keaton and General Zod, who's in that movie for some reason. But we're going to be talking about that. Lots of stuff to discuss over there. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/thecomicspals is the absolute best way that you can help us out. We've got a lot of great content there. Marco just put out his newsletter. We'll talk about that more on the main show, Marco. But that's out there now for you guys to check out. Palling Around #1's out there. Lots of great stuff at patreon.com/thecomicspals, youtube.com/thecomicspals to check out all of our content. If you cannot listen live, that is a great place to listen to the show. Like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel for free. All that's free, helps us out a lot more than it costs you. Let's jump right into these reviews. We're starting with Death of the Justice League #1. This is
Wait, Sean, is this
yeah.
Justice League 75?
I'm sorry, 75. 75.
Oh, I wasn't sure if this was like one of those legacy things.
It's
It gets confusing.
just the fact that it's been referred to as Death of the Justice League
Yeah, I thought it was
keeps throwing me off. But so it's written by Joshua Williamson. He got tapped to do this one issue of Justice League as the primer and lead-in to everything that's coming with Dark Crisis. Joined by Rafa Sandoval on pencils, Jordi Tarragona on inks, and Matt Herms on letters. Matt Herms on colors. Josh Reed did the letters. I've been looking forward to this a lot. I was like, man, this is I can't wait for this. I love when events start with some preamble, get us excited. This is exactly what I was hoping for. This issue, the idea of it is exactly what I was hoping for when they initially announced Dark Crisis. Did the issue actually work? is what we're here to talk about. Did it live up to the hype? What do you guys think?
I, on the whole, I enjoyed this. I don't know why I had to say on the whole that, but you know what I mean. I did enjoy this issue.
Yeah.
I love a good. There's just something about a big DC Justice League event book that just scratches an itch that none other book scratches. Like not even a Marvel event feels the same way as a big DC event, especially when you tease the Crisis name there too.
Yeah.
It's just a whole
And
different
there
thing.
was so much crisis meat in this book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed Williamson's previous two miniseries, I guess they would be. It was what was the other one? The Infinite Frontier, and then the most recent one,
Right.
which was
Justice League Incarnate.
there we go.
Right.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed those two series, and that's really been kind of seeding this whole thing in the background. And now things got so bad because at the end of Justice League Incarnate, they royally fuck up everything. Our heroes, big surprise. You put Captain Carrot on a team and things just don't go out as planned. And Barry screws up royally there too. They have to call in the big guns, so they call in the Justice League. And at this point, it's just like a good way of kind of telling us where the Justice League is at this point. We're told that Superman isn't really on Earth. John Stewart is apparently like the Green Lantern.
He was like Ion, right? Like,
Yeah, he was like Ion, and I think I read that he also in the last issue of Green Lantern, he finally got all the Green Lantern their rings back, which apparently was a thing that happened. So the Green Lantern Corps is back.
So they really are just recycling stories then,
Sure,
aren't they?
yeah. But I think the plotting of it's really good, and I like how it brings these godlike characters back into the fold, and then spoiler from the cover, kills them. Air quotes. I thought it was fun, and it just had like the Rafa Sandoval art it was just like candy. Those double page spreads where they're just fighting, like it's dumb fun. Although like seeing what was it? It was that like made me be like, I don't know about that. It was like Green Arrow fighting Doomsday. I'm like,
Yeah.
good luck. Aquaman.
Well,
it was Aquaman fighting Doomsday, and Aquaman's trident is shattering. I'm like, oh, that ain't looking good.
Yeah.
They do call out like these guys are so easy now, it must be something, which I think
They
makes a
have
lot of
to,
sense, because otherwise it'd be like, why is Darkseid not just like taking all of these people? Like he should be clowning them.
Speaking of Darkseid, you know what I found really interesting is in one of Darkseid's first appearances in the Great Darkness saga in the old Legion of Superheroes stuff, he is the Great Darkness. And the saga is all, about him coming to power and rising up or whatever.
Fun fact.
so-
Go ahead, sorry.
So, I can't imagine what that obscure comic from 50 years ago is going to have to do with this, but it's based on a billion other comics from 50 years ago, so why the hell not?
Yeah.
Great
Go ahead.
Darkness actually made its first appearance in Swamp Thing. Just throwing that out there. Just saying.
Who did?
The Great Darkness. That's where they.
Oh, really? That
There's
was
an arc that deals with it in the Alan Moore stuff.
When did the Legion stuff come before it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, so
Sorry, Sean's too busy talking about the Kardashians in the chat here.
I mean, you guys are boring me to tears. So, from an art standpoint, this was hot fire. Like this was beautiful. The colors were tremendous, all throughout. Like, hats off. This was one of the best looking books that I have read in recent memory, at the very least. This was amazing. The action scenes were incredible. Superman looks like he's on roids, I gotta say.
It's an Apocalypse workout.
Yeah, my man works out hard body. Look at his neck on that first double page spread. The My man's got quite a neck going on. And what's up with Captain Carrot? When did he jump on the juice?
Carrot
Yo,
juice.
Carrot juice.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
a spinach.
As far as the story goes, it was all right. It was all
There's
right.
not much to it.
Yeah. Very plain. Pariah, I'm sure that there are people who could school me on, more information about this guy, but
Looking at him.
there you go. But just from what was here, this individual issue, he's just all right. He's just overpowered. For why, I don't know, because he has to be.
He's got more power, more personality in this one issue than he does in the entirety of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and,
God.
and Sean, like that's also part of the thing. Like he never really had power like this,
Yeah.
so they're confused, and I kind of like that bit of it. And I also love a good story where like the main characters get shuffled away early on,
Right.
so like the B team can step up. Like that's always like my favorite kind of trope. So I'm excited to see who that B team is going to be in this.
Do you like Mystery Men? The film?
I love Mystery Men.
Such
It
a
is
fun
one of
movie.
my
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite movies. It is I wore out my DVD when I was younger. Yeah.
I didn't care about the Dark Army. I didn't.
Really?
No. Why the hell would I?
Nothing. I popped.
Are
for
they
Necron,
really?
man.
They're not even really them, right? Like,
No, they are them, but I think because they're being controlled and he's trying to
Possessed
like
or whatever, yeah.
yeah, the Great Darkness has to control all of them at once. They've lost power because he's trying to control everything.
right? Yeah.
They even got the multiversity guy there in the background, that horned guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I like DC. I like big power villains in DC for sure. We all do. Anti-Monitor, Darkseid, but I don't love it so much when it's like, here's a random villain you don't know who's looks extremely generic, but for whatever reason has the power to just obliterate the Justice League. Bye, Justice League. Like, I would like to know a little bit more about why that was possible, and maybe that's on me for not having read Justice League Incarnate. But
He's
this
not in
did feel out of nowhere.
Pariah isn't like an issue of Justice League Incarnate.
There you go. Yeah. So this definitely felt like it was out of nowhere. I was hoping that they would die in a little bit more of an epic fashion than this. I think everybody gets, well, that's probably not even true. Some of them get moments that are interesting, but by and large, you just kind of get taxed.
Matt says in the chat, "Got to be better than metal," and I'd argue that that is not a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's interesting with all of the references that Williamson is trying to pull out with Death of the Justice League, with his references to the previous crises. It feels very thin. His like the moment where Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all fade away. That's how Barry Allen dies the first time, and it's absolutely monumental, and it's been built up for 15 issues or something. And this, while the reference is really, really good, and I appreciated it, maybe Tyler did,
I did, yeah.
it kind of falls flat.
It seems referential, I think,
Yeah.
is the issue. Which, again, I think the art nails it for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when I turned the page, I was like, oh, like I knew they were gonna die, but like seeing them die in that way, I'm like, oh, this is crisis level shit. So like I
Green
enjoyed
Arrow
that.
getting absolutely obliterated did more for me than that.
That was really
Agreed,
good.
yes,
that was a
yeah.
good moment. One thing Williamson is good at is he can nail those moments. He knows how to deliver on them. The way, even just the way it was set up with him choosing to be here. He wasn't called. He chose to be here, and he died for it. He paid the price. But he's happy to do that because he died alongside his team in Black Canary. And who can't connect to that? That was a great moment.
I don't think he died.
You don't
Oh,
think?
I mean, he gets beat to shit, but they call for like medics once they get transferred back. Like they call for help for him. So like, I think he'll be
All right.
like maybe like our sole survivor or something, and like he helps lead the team or something like that. I don't know.
Well, they put Shazam in that, or Shazam,
Oh, Shazam.
Black Adam in the sole survivor position. In fact,
Yeah.
I had a few flashbacks to Marvel movies throughout this. So first of all, he's very much in the Bruce Banner position
Yeah.
from Infinity War, which was like, to me, that was just heavy handed in terms of the reference. And then, of course, the dusting of the big three, you guys referenced Barry Allen, and that's, fair enough. But just visually, without knowing about that, I was like, okay, so is this guy like, is this just supposed to be a Thanos reference, or what are we doing?
No, the Thanos is a Crisis reference.
Yeah.
So get some respect in your mouth.
Kale, that would be the last time you tell me what I should put in my mouth.
We'll see.
It really ought to be.
It ought to be. That don't mean it will be.
Next episode
yeah.
of Pound Around, you can figure out.
What fits where?
You can find out what I can't put in my mouth without risking death if you listen to episode 1. Sultan says Soups, Bats, and Wonder Woman just get dusted. I agree. I'm all for the big epic stuff, but I want those characters to also feel like characters and not just, oh God, they could die to this. This is bad. They don't feel like people. They don't influence the situation. They're helpless. And I get that they want to leave it to the next generation, but we're here, we read these books for these people. So I want them to at least get something, especially if they're going to be gone for a while. And that didn't happen. I don't know what to attribute that to. This was long. It wasn't a short issue by any means, but they didn't have enough space, I suppose, to do that. And I wish that they had taken the time.
It because it felt like telegraphed just off the cover, right? I didn't have as much of an issue with that because I was waiting for it. It's like when you figure out the ending to a movie and you're just kind of waiting for it to pop up. Whether or not that can be satisfying, I think, is definitely up to be questioned. And for me, it worked just because I knew it was going to happen. I was waiting for the moment, and I'm not as well versed in Crisis stuff. It always feels like I always feels like I missed a class and I'm catching up on homework with the stuff. So for me, that worked fine, just because I knew it was going to be encapsulated in this issue, and I needed to see that happen, and I got what I got.
But wouldn't you want a comic that's just better? Like, wouldn't you want a comic that has emotional weight rather than just them dying? Because we all know they're going to die, right? Like, the point of reading it is to see how and whether it's cool or not. And that was the problem that we had, or at least that I had with the death of Doctor Strange #1, was that, okay, yeah, we know what's going to happen. It's in the title. What are you going to do to impress me? Beyond just kill him, because anyone could write that comic. So that's my issue. Go ahead.
I will say my issue was, and it wasn't an issue, but I was like, oh, they're fucked. Is when we get back to Earth, and then like the remaining characters are Detective Chimp, Naomi, and Firestorm. I'm like, oh yeah, that ain't good.
Talk about your B team.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. The League's in trouble. Earth is in trouble. The multiverse is in trouble. It should be fun.
I'm excited for Dark Crisis, honestly. I think I'm ready for like a good Crisis book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was
after reading
solid.
This, I think I am too. Yeah.
Much more of a visual treat, I think, than anything else.
It felt
But-
like a free comic book day issue almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like more
Yep.
of a premise. Like this is like what Zero issues used to be. Where it
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily essential reading, but it was like it really led you into the event.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one more book coming before Dark Crisis, I believe, that ties directly in Justice League Road to Dark Crisis. So they do have one more shot to set the table for this. That should be interesting. I think that DC has done a good enough job of building hype for Dark Crisis. And whatever my thoughts about this issue's handling of the big three overall and their actual deaths, I would say death wise, this is pretty middle of the road. Like, this isn't that cool compared to a lot of other deaths we've seen in comics. But as a setup for the future, yeah, bring it on. Bring on Dark Crisis.
I'm ready for it.
You have to pull it. I mean, if you're
Yeah, I would say pull it. Yeah.
This is DC, you know.
Also, one thing we didn't talk about, it's a Justice League issue that's not by Bendis. Like, that alone is worth the pull. Like, we haven't had that in how long at this point?
Couple years.
3 years or so? 2-3 years?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Too long. Yeah.
Obligatory pull.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's talk about Swamp Thing number 12. Something with a little more to chew on. Ram V, Mike Perkins and Spicer, of course, on art and colors respectively, and Aditya Bidikar doing the letters. So I actually wasn't here when you guys reviewed number 11, so I didn't read that. And I read this one kind of quick, so I'm going to let you guys pretty much handle the review here. I will say, from a visual standpoint, this book just never misses. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You know, we've praised it for its color, its use of colors before, and I feel like, you know, we've seen issues that really focus on like purple and orange. We've seen issues that go deep into green. We've seen issues that feature red. I feel like this one really brought everything out. All those color combinations were present, and it was really just a feast. Really amazing stuff.
Well, if you want to talk about the color part of it, I think the use of so in this book, we get the introduction of a new parliament, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
But it's about metal and iron being a representation of industry and adaptation, which I thought was great. But the idea of like all those bits of the book were in like these cool and kind of cold colors in a way, and then you juxtapose it with the bright, you know, reds, almost like fall colors and greens that you have in the green, and it really shows the difference between the two, I guess, parliaments at this point, which is kind of wild. But that's a big deal, right, Marco? Like a whole new parliament. Like, I don't remember how many times I've seen that.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often. The last one was the Rhythm, the Machines in Charles Soule run, and then the very last issue of that run was like this concept of ideas and stories, and I think that's where Ram is pulling from with this stuff. And I think it's cool to see a new parliament sort of be born and the context around it, because it doesn't happen very often, and when it does, I think it's executed usually in a really thoughtful way. I like the way that he surrounds himself with this concept of building and with, like you said, industry, and I guess in another sense, even like this concept of capitalism. Like, it's become its own beast and it lives by itself right now at this point. It was cool. I think some of the in this instance, we get to see Ram be a little bit more verbose. He sort of feels quite a bit, which I think was probably my only critique in this issue. But otherwise, yeah, the introduction of the Parliament of Gears, which is that business focused sort of mindset, counterpoint with the Levi being pulled out of the green again and sort of brought back into just him and his being. I thought this was good. I don't think this was the best issue. I think because he sort of started, it felt like to me, started fumbling around with his words a bit, made it a bit more of a, I guess, trip to read through. And then Hawksmoor, I'm not sure what his role in all this is quite yet. I'm still interested in that angle. And to your point, Tyler, on like how the textures and like the colors all sort of play. I also like that when he's in this factory, it's all like grimy and gross, and then you get these metal bits coming out, which is direct contrast with sort of this like softness of the plant life, and there's more of this just organic texture, whereas this other stuff feels like coming out of the mire and like oil goop or something. And I thought that was really cool. There's this horrific eye panel where the eye just like goes limp and like looks up. It's just gross, and I enjoyed those moments. I think Perkins really shines in this book, and yeah, I'm interested to see where the rest of this goes. I'm curious where the meeting's going to happen between Hawksmoor, this new head of Parliament of Gears, and Levi, because it's interesting so far.
Kale, I know you kind of, I felt you like revile once he talked about how wordy it was and how scene chewy it felt. But I started reading this in the voice of Werner Herzog, which made it 10 times better.
I was looking for a voice and I couldn't quite find it.
Because
perfect.
that whole the whole idea of the creations of man versus the nature of Earth is a very Herzogian thing. And he almost looks like him in a strange way too.
Yeah.
So
I can see it.
I was kind of feeling that in a way, and like just like how this whole new parliament can grow, because like this is not something that existed when the Earth was made. You know, the idea of that there had to be an evolution of the parliaments in general for that to even come about. And it being, you know, the epicenter of it being in Detroit, an abandoned really city in current day America, that was a important part of industry and innovation originally, and now it being kind of a graveyard. He's working on a lot of things here that I really enjoy.
What was the point for Swamp Thing in this set of issues? I guess this one and the last one. And I'll include Tefe in that conversation, because I don't think I quite understand like what his role to play in this was. Was this were these two issues just to introduce, you know, the Parliament of Gears or whatever? Because that's fine.
I viewed it as A and B. Oh, I was going to respond to that, but I was going to say I was viewing it as A and B, like two separate plots that are now only converging.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the green stuff was really Levi kind of resolving his issue with his brother that we were kind of left on at the end of the main run or whatever, like the issue
First
10
season.
or something
Season
like that.
1,
Yeah. And it was more of a resolution of that, whereas the new big bad is really forming in that. I thought the end scene of this book kind of threw me for a loop. I'm like, oh, we got another thing going on.
Yeah. The B plot of this, where Swamp Thing is just kind of like figuring out his whole situation post him interrupting his brother and all that, it felt reminiscent of when the first arc that we read for the book club, where he's like in the swamp and he's just like stuck and rooted and he's trying to figure his own stuff out, and he has to be pulled out by Abby. That's sort of what I was feeling with this, and I don't know how I feel about the end, the Trinity or Trinity. I don't get it. Is it radiation? Because if it is, there's something that sort of...
Trinity was the name of the original test nuke. So
okay.
It's almost a sentient version of the original atom bomb.
What?
Interesting.
Which is,
okay.
That's where I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I don't know where that fits into all this. I mean, it is the peak of innovation at a certain point. So I don't know if that works into the idea of this new Parliament of Gears.
Well, it's also the greatest manifestation of, you know, human violence, right? Like it's equally the greatest representation of our technological advancement, but also humanity's greatest sin. You know what I'm saying? So I think it fits right in as being a midway point between the two.
It's interesting because it cross sections between the green, the black, and the red. You know, like life, plant life, and then death. So that fits.
you can always count on Rom V to hit you with some crazy like reference to something that you'd never think about, or just weave something in, and it's like, how are you pulling this off? I think while this was a very talky issue, and again, it's like we only have 16 of these, right? I think.
Yeah, there's 4 more issues.
Yeah, so not a lot of time left. So you're like, gosh, I wish we weren't spending so much time talking in this, one issue. Like, I wish more had happened. Him having the space to play around like that and establish those things hopefully means, and you can trust Rom, he's always delivers, that later on we're going to feel the weight of this. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, very much so. I think I'm glad that we're setting this up in the first 2 issues, because that means we have 4 issues to play.
Right. And I'm pretty confident that the Suicide Squad won't show up, so we won't be derailed,
Yeah, that issue they also had their last issue this week. So,
Well, don't worry, he's gonna have to
doubly
cross over
safe.
with the death of the Justice League, and
Somehow.
they have to pick up Aquaman slack.
Oh gosh. So pull or pass?
Yeah,
Trade
I say pull. Yeah,
it's a pull.
I think you
I'm a
can.
trade
You
weight.
can. I would do both. Can I say that?
Say whatever you want,
not
man.
pull and pass, but trade weight and pull. Like,
Pull and pass.
I'm real excited to read this as a collection.
I'm still into it. I got to go back and read 11. I think for me, probably the break did take away my excitement a little bit. It affected this way more than Nice House for some reason. That felt like a season of television had ended, and I was really looking forward to the next one. Whereas this was like, man, this was really cool, but I wasn't thinking about it while it was gone. And when it came back, I wasn't motivated enough to to read issue 11 when I got it. So
The issue 11, I think you're going to enjoy. There's this great surgery scene. It's just fucked up. It's real good.
okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. And again, I will say pull this. If you've been on for the ride, there's no reason for you not to read this. And if you haven't, then we're only 12 issues deep. So getting the trade and then jumping on board, whether that's through, DC Infinite or whatever, DC Universe app, whatever it's called, that would not be difficult at all. So I think it's worth it.
Yeah. This was my pull of the week.
Awesome.
What?
Me too.
Believe it or not, dude. Yeah, I'm even wearing this shirt and everything, Got a rep.
I'm wearing mine too. See, Marco?
Oh, let's go.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
The disrespect.
Wait a minute.
My
Waited
Swamp Thing
this
shirt was
whole
in the wash.
episode to
Sorry.
pull that out.
Right?
I didn't know. It was not on purpose. I'm only realizing it now. And I just.
Wait, you didn't realize you had a Man Thing shirt on when you were going to review Swamp Thing?
No, I didn't. Honestly,
No, you're a
my
Does
head. is
anyone
not-
believe that?
My
Does
head-
anybody believe
My
that?
head is in the clouds right now. I didn't plan it unless the subconsciously it was working, which I do not doubt my subconscious would do that.
All right. Well, let's talk about Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Doing the stinky leg.
Do you want to get it out of the way, Tyler? Because I just know you're chomping at the bit.
No, so I don't know who it was in Discord. Like I thought the leg in this is annoying in this cover. But somebody picked out that Spider-Man is whipping without the pinky, and that is
Yeah.
more annoying to me.
Oh,
I
shit.
can't not see that now.
Yeah,
Ooh.
like I understand how it would still work. You're still hitting the right. The digits are hitting the right. Button on the web shooter. But like you gotta have the pinky. Like try to do three fingers in this. Like it does not feel right. Oh wait, that's just
Feel
a finger gun. Never mind. It feels fine.
The leg didn't bother me too much, just because how like in when you're doing animation in video games you have to
Yeah,
sort of
as I do.
exaggerate certain features, right? Like for me, this is one of those like rubber band things that you just need to be able to showcase movement in a static image. You need to showcase elasticity.
Elasticity, yeah. If you're Mr. Fantastic, why is his leg sticking out so far? And also, not only is his leg sticking out like he's Mr. Fantastic, but it looks brittle. It looks like when he lands, that shit's going to break. In fact, it looks already broken in a couple of places. What the hell happened here? But we have dunked on this cover on the main show. I wanted to give Tyler the space because I know he's been wanting to talk about it, but that's the last time we're going to talk about this cover, okay? Instead, we're going to talk about what's inside.
Ooh.
So Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr., of course, returning to Spider-Man, Scott Hanna, Marcio Menes. That's the creative team. Now, this book starts with Spider-Man did something bad, I guess. There's a crater in Pennsylvania, which is appropriate. And then we go 6 months later, and we don't know what it is that Spider-Man did, but clearly he pissed off a lot of people because Aunt May's not having it. The creditor is chasing him down. I mean, he's living a New York life. Like, this is this is pretty normal. His best friend is pissed at him because he left him paying the rent, which, by the way, would never happen.
No way.
That is nuts. That would never happen.
In New York, at
That's
those
friendship
prices.
ending. Yeah.
I don't know where Zeb Wells lives, but every Spider-Man comic book feels like he's paying, even in No Way Home, it feels like his rent is like 1960s rent.
He's got rent-controlled housing. Yeah.
In No Way Home, my man is studying for his GED, okay?
Yeah.
No evidence of a job at all, and has and is paying the rent for an apartment on what salary? How much does this apartment cost? There's
Maybe,
no
like,
way.
He sold some Tony Stark tech on the black market. That might get you at least a month's rent.
So my question is, where is it that Peter lives in this comic book that his friend was able to hold him down for 6 months?
Yo, right? Yo, and it says Alphabet City, right?
Yeah,
Alphabet
where's
City,
that?
Nobody
it's
calls it
when-
Alphabet City anymore.
What? Of course they do.
I thought that was a more of an older term. I don't think that's
Nah,
a.
it's still.
it's
I
just still
call it
the.
Alphabet City.
Okay.
I
Green
thought
Village.
I thought it was an older term myself, but
No.
in any event, yeah, go ahead.
But still, that area now, that's just up and coming, bro. That's expensive.
Yeah. That's
Okay, so where is it?
Between 14th and 14 and then like even lower.
In like Houston,
Oh, fucking
right?
hell.
like how between
Yeah,
Houston
jeez.
and then it's past First Ave. That's when it goes to ABC.
Yeah.
C.W. Gordon says New York rent not sliding with the timeline.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I feel like
Neither
the
are
only,
wages.
The only writer who's gotten that right is what is it, Nick Spencer? He had 3 roommates and they were all villains.
Right, yeah.
That's
One was
awesome.
Boomerang.
And
That's the best part.
That
of
was
Spencer
my
Friend.
experience living in New York.
Yeah.
That's the experience.
And also, like, I like how we're stuck on this part, but isn't like Randy like a reporter, like his dad?
Oh, is that Randy Robertson?
That's what I
It's
assumed.
his son. It's
Yeah,
Robbie's
yeah.
son, Randy. Yeah. Which, like, I don't think a reporter can pay for someone else's rent for 6. But he's also dating the Beetle, so she might just be stealing shit. So
He wouldn't be able to pay his own rent. Like, this is bullshit. This is Zeb Wells. The rest of the comic is fine. I'm not even talking about that.
I like the
I'm
issue.
just talking
Yeah, I
about
like
this
the
one part. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm just talking about that one part. This is, come on, please. I don't know where Zeb Wells lives, but in New York, you can't get away with this stuff. Anyway, so Pete's life is really bad. No one likes him. Tough times. MJ's not answering the phone. Yada, yada, yada. We see the return of Digger, which most people were probably like, okay, like in an issue 1, you expect like, oh man, big returns, like Green Goblin, Venom, whoever. Digger.
Who is Digger? Do you guys know Digger?
Yep.
I
Sure do.
have seen Digger before. I didn't know he was dead, but I didn't care if he was alive.
Yep.
What was he in? Is there like a certain
Just,
arc?
I don't know, just Spider-Man, over the years.
It's in a couple issues. It's a short arc, I think, right around issue maybe 500. It's Straczynski's run.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. So this is near the Moreland area.
Yeah, after.
Okay, this is right down your alley then.
Yeah. But even I wasn't excited about it. I went, really?
Hey, CW Gordon in the chat says just read the whole JMS and slot run last year. Hyped to see Digger. All right, so we found the fan.
All right.
Okay.
I take it back. I take it back.
Dude, it was a turn page, right? So I'm like, oh, the lizard. Wait, nope.
Nope, it's Digger.
What a name too.
Sean, that's like one of those like wrestling like run-ins, and they take off the mask, and you're like, oh, like,
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani.
oh, okay, oh boy.
It's like when you turn out the lights in a wrestling show and then they come back on and it's like someone no one gives a shit about, like they did on AEW a couple of weeks back.
Like Santum Singh or whatever his name
yes,
was.
Santom Singh. No one cared about that. Anyway, we see Tombstone is kind of like the boss man of New York, which is pretty cool. Tombstone, if you're a classic Spider-Man fan, Tombstone was all over the place back in the day. So it's nice to see him sort of take a bigger role. I really like that. And he's the boss, and we see he's kind of controlling things. There's people like Negative Man at the table. What's the mask lady's name? Madam Mask, right?
Adam Mask,
Yeah, love her. She's a great Iron
Is
Man
that
villain.
Crime Master there with the black mask and the fedora?
Hammerhead's there too. So, you know, again, like if you like street level stuff, there's a lot of that. This feels, I hate to say this with Spider-Man because I feel like every run tries to be this at the start, but it feels like back to basics in a lot of ways, down to the villains, which I enjoyed that aspect of the story. And then from there, it's kind of just a romp. Like Spider-Man chases the villains while he's riding the top of the vehicle, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah,
like-
it lands like an itsy bitsy spider. Okay, sure. Thunk. Yeah, okay.
There's just a lot of fun. Tombstone's house gets blown up. That was insane.
I gotta,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we talk about Ramita?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought this was fantastic, Ramita.
Yeah.
Gotta
What?
say,
This
gotta say,
Good shit.
this doesn't
What?
feel like he has missed a step since
This was
the
like
Straczynski
early
stuff.
Kick-Ass too. Like this is
Yeah.
like, oh, it was so good. I was like so happy to see this, and it was paneled perfectly for him too. Instead of like where I think like Bendis and especially the DC stuff really tried to make Ramita fit into like really tight panels, which he does not work with. They were doing like 6-panel grids in this, where like each of the panels let him do his work without it and let it breathe too. I thought it was great, man. The face work was classic Ramita. I loved it.
What?
Well, classic Romita in that it's not great.
But it's
But it's Romita, like-
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I
loved
think
it,
if
man. It
you
was so
you
good.
have to like him, right? But I think if you like John Romita Jr., this is some of the best stuff he's done in a very
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
I haven't
It-
felt good about his work since Kick-Ass.
Yeah, it ain't the faces we're showing up for.
That is indeed true. I also want to say I think that Scott Hanna and Marcio Menes did a lot of work. I think they did a lot of work in
The
terms
way-
of shoring this up, and from a color standpoint, this is real good. I think they worked
Yeah.
hard. They deserve a lot of credit.
The way it was colored added shape to
Yes.
what typically I feel like Ramita is just very flat.
Yes.
And normally I'm really into flat, but like the way it added shape, especially, and I think that's where like the faces got me, where like the faces had shape to it because of the way it was like colored and shaded too, which I felt like a breath of fresh air for Ramita, which
Yeah.
I was not expecting, honestly.
I'm gonna hold up a panel right now. It just caught my eye. It's of Spider-Man being choked by the Digger, and what I'm highlighting this for is because if you look, you can see the mask is kind of like crumpled up.
Yeah.
That's not a feature that you would see with that level of definition typically in a Ramita book. That's real good. It's real good. I thought there was a lot to love from the art, from an art standpoint here. Real good.
Solon Swing says, "Why is this so much better than Action Comics and Batman?" That's a good question. I think he's got to have the right writer, honestly.
My man can just do it on Spider-Man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in the Romita blood. Like he can just
Well,
do it.
First of all, I think that Superman at the very least, you see his face constantly,
Yeah.
and that's one of Romita's not strongest suits.
I'm having
Spider-Man
flashbacks
is Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Spider-Man has a more of a loose physical presentation, and I think that works. Romita knows how to work with that. Whereas with Superman, he always felt stiff, as if that was a deliberate action, but from Romita, it looked too stiff, if you will. It wasn't presenting presence; it was just cardboard.
That's why you can get a stanky leg on the cover, and it doesn't look that out of place.
There you go. Yeah, Matt, I did like it. I liked it a lot. I really did. This was my book of the week.
Mine too. Yeah, mine too.
It was close.
Marco,
for me.
let's hear it. I really want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
You guys are bugging, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Yo, this art? Are you joking?
No, bro.
All right, turn to page, Sean, 36. Yeah. Okay, it's just this one page where I think the issue for me was the faces. There are a lot of close-ups in this, and it started back when even we get introduced to Randy. My dude looks like a Muppet in some pictures, in some like panels.
That's why I like it. Okay.
Dude, wait, look at this. All right, let me see this.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
This one panel right over here, over here in the corner, he just looks like a fucking Muppet. Like, his mouth is all weird. I don't know what we're supposed to be looking at. Like,
I don't know. That looks pretty normal to me, man.
All right, the faces were the biggest issue I think for me. I think his dynamicism is pretty good. He has a lot of good action sequences. But anytime we had these smaller intimate moments, I was struggling to get through. I couldn't look at anything else but big lips or weird mouth positions, and the eyes wouldn't match up in certain panels from panel to panel. Some people were just elongated.
He's Peter Parker might be top 5 for me.
It's a top 3 for me. Like, yeah.
But this is definitely weaker Romita Peter Parker.
You guys saying that this is the best stuff that he's put out in the past few years? I don't know, man. I don't know Romita like that, but if you guys say so, I'm gonna
say so. Trust,
Marco,
trust and believe.
I threw up on the stream. You can see it on the Zoom. A character he drew for DC Comics. Can you tell me which DC Comics character that is?
DC?
I put his, yeah, this.
What is that? A Sasquatch?
You want to take another stab at it? It's a DC Comics villain. Will that help?
A villain?
Oh! I remember.
Give me a.
It's Gorilla Grodd. It's Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rogues.
What?
No way.
This is his Gorilla Grodd. So yeah, I'm happy to see him not at DC anymore.
Oh my god, dude! That's
I will say,
absurd.
Rabbit. I had weird feelings.
I
In your pants?
I just said weird feelings.
It's a hey Marco. That's like an easy, like $10 Marvel Legends figure. That one, White Rabbit. It would cost more to buy a new mason jar than it would be to get that. So
to buy a rabbit figure, you know what? Okay, good to know.
Semen
Back of my head.
is another kind of milk.
Marco's trying to give her his carrot. So I did want to quickly comment on Mary Jane's aspect.
Yeah.
Before we move on. Yeah. So Mary Jane's getting her phone blown up by her ex-boyfriend Peter Parker, who's stalking her, and she's not really having that. She tells him, "Don't call this number. I want nothing to do with you." And then she sees that he's outside her window, which is absurdly creepy. And then a guy runs in named Peter Paul. Wow. And then it turns out that they have kids. There's 2 kids. They call her mom. I am assuming those are her step kids. That's my assumption.
One looks a lot like her, though.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, go ahead.
Maybe Paul's got some like real strong swimmers.
Strong enough to get it done to have 2 children in 6 months.
Sliding timeline, man.
My God.
Even that MJ panel where she's like kiddos, right? Look at the sizing between her head, her arms, the body, the rest of the legs. It's just off, dude.
That panel looks immaculate. Look
You're
at Paul. Look
joking!
at Paul at the bottom of the page, and you're gonna tell me Mary Jane is the problem on that page?
Paul too.
I didn't question Paul either. I thought I don't know.
I thought it looked good.
that all looked pretty normal. Yeah.
It's great.
Oh,
I mean, sad boy. I bet you like sad boy Peter is just like leaving like packages and notes at MJ's door at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, webbing up her name on the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
He's writing
Like,
haikus.
yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Get out of here, Matt. I'm not a hater, bro. It's not good art.
It's phenomenal art, Marco.
Wait,
It's not even
I don't think that Matt has ever come that hard at anyone on the show but me. So Marco, eat it. Well, poor choice of words.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Eat that cum.
Semen is just another kind of milk.
Well, I didn't press the button that time. Jeez.
Oh no.
Wow. Anyway, so we all pulled, right? Or Marco.
We pulled.
Yeah, again, phrasing. Sean, come on.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm gonna come.
That's Marco to the White Rabbit.
Yeah.
That one maybe.
Yeah, hard pull. I can't believe in the year of 2022, I'm pulling an Amazing Spider-Man, but here we are.
Yeah.
You're pulling JR Amazing Spider-Man. Like, that's happening again.
Yeah.
Shocking. Can't wait to see where it goes. Harris in the chat says, wait, what? Out of context entry? Listen, man, I can't explain it to you. I think we'll get banned if I explain it to you. So we're just going to move on and talk about Knights of X #1. I feel like this is the cover of the week, I think. Well, no, Rogues is the cover of the week. But in terms of the books we bought, I think this is the cover of the week. So this book is basically a follow-up to Excalibur. It's got Teenie Howard writing it. It's got Bob Quinn on art. Bob Quinn did Way of X, I think.
I believe so.
It was the one with Legion. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Way
Also
of X.
did like a 007 book a couple years back. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Bob Quinn's been around. He's been making the rounds. And he's very talented. Eric Arcenega on colors. Ariana Mayer on letters. So if you didn't like Excalibur, I'll just say this right now. This is not going to be for you.
Great.
This book this book is steeped in magic talk and otherworld and fae and all that BS, Knights of the Round Table, Merlin, all of that garbage, which I call I say garbage affectionately because I like it. But it's garbage to you if you don't. It's got all of that. But I thought it was fantastic. I really liked this.
Wow.
Yep.
I wasn't
really
expecting
had a
that from
blast.
you, honestly.
Yeah, I had fun with this. I'm typically not a fan of your typical Excalibur stuff, your Knights of the Round Table, magic, all that. I fell off of the Black Knight pretty hard, just because of that same sort of vibe. But this was fun. I think as much as it dipped its toe, or I don't know, it jumped into the pool with the magic stuff, I was able to follow, and I thought that I appreciated that because it didn't need me to know sort of what happened before with Excalibur. This was a clean start. This is how we're moving forward. It made some references if you've been following, but outside of that, I was able to follow the story. The art was great, and the I guess for lack of a better term, the magic talk was kept at a minimum. It popped up where it was necessary, but otherwise, I don't think it overwhelmed the book.
What I liked about this is, and I read all of Excalibur, and I enjoyed that. I liked how this felt like it's completely removed from the Krakoa stuff. It had no real, like it mentioned it maybe once or twice, and it's kind of like just went whole hog into the sword and sorcery instead. It just raw dogged magic the entire issue. But I like that. I like how like previously like Excalibur, there's with the tie-in to like Ten of Swords, and like Apocalypse was one of the members of the team originally. It always kind of had its foot in Krakoa and its foot in Otherworld at the same time, and it had to like teeter back and forth. Now we're like just fully into the magic the knights part of it, and I'm fine with that. Like I think that's I think it's a good change of pace, especially like an X book that doesn't have to deal with the Krakoan politics. Like as much as I love that shit, there's another flavor now that I can enjoy, and it looks really good.
So I think that everything you just said is true. I like that they kind of double down on, the other world of this. We know there are mutants in Otherworld. We know that they've been trapped. I like the fact that they're doing, like, this feels in some ways more like a Marauders book than Marauders, in the sense that the Marauders don't save anybody. Like, what did they do in that comic book? Like, it's just ridiculous. They're in space now for whatever, like, I don't know. But this, I like the mission statement is save mutants no matter where they are. And here they're in Otherworld. I love that stuff. This is great. I have a major complaint. I can't believe no one has said it yet. Why, oh why, is Saturnine no longer 8 feet tall?
I knew it. I knew I was gonna bring that up.
She wasn't always that in the previous volume.
Fair enough.
And that was a big problem Sean had in the previous volumes.
Yeah. One of my problems on the reviews of those was that there she wasn't a tall giant goddess. But in Ten of Swords, she was. And I think that change should have been retained. She should dwarf everybody else. And I don't like the fact that they went away from that. She lost something.
So in this episode, Marco admits or discovers his fascination with rabbit women. Check out Final Fantasy XIV online. You might like it.
No, I'm a big fan of Space Jam.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I see where that comes from. And Sean is professing his admiration for giantesses.
For Saturnine. And I have done this many times. So I won't belabor it, but listen, they need Bob Quinn. Listen, man, you need to change that, buddy.
Step it
Actually, now that you mention it, I think she does get big towards the end of Excalibur. I remember there was like a fight scene where she shows up as bigger. I think she can adjust it.
Yeah, well, she needs to adjust it for me.
Oh boy. Vor fetish. Well.
Otherwise, Sean can't adjust it for her.
Sean, a one Matthew Peel Murphy redeemed a highlighted message.
Oh, okay. All right. Time to read it. So Matt Murphy says, save mutants from the Krakoa era.
Damn.
I gotta say, I might be there.
What? You're
I'm
off?
bored. I'm bored.
No, come on.
I read this and I wasn't. I read this and I went, actually, I think I'm done.
All right.
This isn't even part of the Krakoan stuff. This wasn't like a good change of pace since you weren't really feeling that.
No, I don't care about even one of these characters. You tell me a baby's a dragon?
You didn't know? In Otherworld, yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Shogo,
I was so confused. I was like, where did the baby go and where the fuck did this dragon come from?
Even worse, it's Jubilee's baby. Ugh.
It's not even her real baby.
No.
Oh, so she's stealing babies now.
She stole it when she was a vampire.
We read all this.
I didn't.
All right.
I don't know how that I missed it. I genuinely don't know either. But
like, she's like taking care of somebody's baby. I don't know who it was.
Can I just say, is Shogo the longest lasting baby in mainstream comic books?
Yes. Absolutely.
It has to be. Everyone would have just dropped that baby plot years ago. If
Drop
it was
that
any other
baby.
character.
Dude, they literally took Hope to the future and brought her back as like an adult.
Yeah.
Just to get through all of that. All right. Well, in any event, this issue has all the action. There's just a lot of action, which I really enjoyed. First issues generally get bagged on, including here on this podcast, for being very by the numbers. This issue does all the things it's supposed to do as a first issue without ever feeling like it's dragging to me. And it probably is able to do that in part because of the fact that it has the Excalibur lineage. So there's some stuff you can kind of skip past. But I think it does everything it's supposed to do, and it does them in a way that's engaging. And I think Teenie Howard is actually getting better. And I already thought highly of her through Excalibur.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it from a story perspective does what it needs to do, and it carries you along through the narrative. I thought it was paced pretty well. It was enough for me, who's not familiar with Excalibur, somebody coming fresh in with this. It carried me along through the end, and for that, I definitely appreciated it. It's just fun. It's good.
Quick question: is that Corvus Glaive that appears like halfway through the issue? He's the dude with the knife who has like a cloak that's got some black and yellow in it.
No, those are just random otherworld villains that were introduced. They're just like Fae people.
He looks exactly like Corvus Glaive.
God. Side note: the names for that Hickman came up with for the for like Corvus Glaive and Proxima, like those characters are so fucking good.
I love every single one of them. Ebony
Did you
Maw,
read that
Black
miniseries?
Dwarf. Probably because I'm obsessed with
so
the Black Order.
Yeah. Oh, there was a Black
Not-
Order miniseries.
Not the children of Thanos, by the way. Screw that name. That's from the movies. They're the
Oh,
they're
they
the
really
Black
called
Order.
them- Yeah, no, I thought they were called. I didn't know they were called the Children of Thanos in the movie. That's stupid.
They even cut one. They cut Supergiant.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh yeah.
man, those characters are so good,
Ebony Maw is such a good name.
Ooh.
right? Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive.
It
Black
feels so
Dwarf.
good in your mouth.
Yeah,
Ebony Maw.
a lot of mouth talk
yeah.
this episode. And
Yeah,
it's not
what's
for me
going
for
on?
once, which
What's
is
this oral fixation about?
Proxima Midnight is MCU mommy. I mean,
There it is.
I get it.
From the mouths of babes, as it were.
I get it.
Oh my god. Wait. Harris says weird babies are involved. No wonder Sean is all for it. You're really,
I don't know. What that's
really
about.
gonna have to clarify that because that sounds like the kind of thing that needs to be deleted. Because
That's a big old sus. Ooh,
yeah.
that's how I feel about that one.
Yeah. This was for me. Picking the book of the week was tough just because of how much I enjoyed this and Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man wins out by a hair, but I really like this.
Oh, it was a Death Stranding reference, Sean.
I never played that game.
Okay.
I don't know
all right.
anything about that damn game.
All right. You want to talk about Comics Tag?
Do you guys want to tell if you're pulling?
No,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
pull it.
pulling.
I pulled Knights of X. Knights of 10?
Hard
I think it would be Knights of 10 in this situation, right? Isn't
Knights
it
of 10. Knights of 10.
Yeah, I think I might pass.
Ooh.
Oh, you're right, Sultan. I am worked up,
About what? You said like 3 things.
and they were all positive.
Yeah. And then he's not pulling.
I'm not pulling it though.
The only positive thing you've said about anything that wasn't Swamp Thing is you like White Rabbit.
Whoa, and I said that this was well paced, and then the narrative took me in and took me along to the end. I didn't have any issues understanding what was going on. I appreciated that they explained what the Furies were, because I'm like, what are these Sentinel looking motherfuckers? And he's like, why are there Sentinels here? No, they're Furies. I'm like, oh, I'm that guy. Okay.
You passed.
I did, because it was all right. I'm not going to pick it
Honestly,
up.
I think that's a big thing for this issue. The fact that Marco can understand what's going on in Otherworld in the Marvel Universe
That's fair.
in one issue, like
that's what I'm saying.
No, wait,
That's a
whoa,
feat.
let's not give him too much credit or Teeny
give me-
Howard.
give me the credit.
No, because Marco has read Excalibur. Okay, we've read about half of that for the show. And on top of that, he read the Otherworld arc from Uncanny X-Force. So he's read as much Otherworld
That's-
as I have.
That's the most confusing arc of Uncanny X-Force too.
And it was the worst arc of Uncanny
was the worst
X-Force.
arc, yeah.
But, I digress. Let's do Comics Tag. Let's get into that.
So I was tasked with reading Invisible Republic as much as I could, and it wasn't as much as I had wanted, but I got through 2 issues of it. So
Okay, that's reasonable.
I love Gabriel Hartman. I am a big Gabriel Hartman fan. So like this has always been staring at me on the shelf. And I didn't realize this was like, if you thought like Blade Runner was dirty future, like this is grosser than that in terms of like everything's dirt. There's these mud bugs everywhere that are people eating. And it's like this concurrent story of the rise of power for some kind of, I guess, dictator. I haven't fully gotten that yet. And then a reporter at the same time. But Hardman is like a master of just storytelling through art. I mean, I think he's actually a storyboarder.
Yes.
Like his main gig, and he just does comics when he feels like he has something to tell. But yeah, I really like this. I'm definitely gonna keep reading it. I'll probably finish this volume by the weekend.
The next time I have a chance to pick a book for a book club, it's probably going to be Invisible Republic.
Could I say, Sean, if you like Hardman, check out Jeff Parker and Gabriel Hardman on Hulk. It was the Red Hulk. I know you're laughing. It is so damn good.
You could tell me that Gabriel Hardman had a 60-issue run on, I don't know, Howard the Duck, and I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I think Gabriel Hardman is a master of comics.
Yeah,
One
I
of the
really
few
enjoyed
we
it.
have.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked
what that
it.
means.
Yeah.
So I might have just sick nasally brain, and I might have. So tell me if I've already told you guys to read this, or not you guys, but I'm gonna be tagging Kale. And I just want you to read one issue, and there's like a part of me that says I might have told you to do this already, and I don't remember because my brain not working today. But One Star Squadron, have you read this?
No.
I want you to check out the first issue of One Star Squadron.
Okay.
It's about 6 issues in now. It's Mark Russell and Steve Lieber doing a DC story that deals with Girl Boss Power Girl and Middle Management Red Tornado.
Yo, that sounds amazing.
Okay.
They're running a small, it's almost like an Uber for superheroes. And Red Tornado is kind of leading a team of like Z-list DC characters. Like
You have talked
bottom
about
of the
this
barrel. But it's super depressing, but like in a good way. I don't know how to explain it, but I've been enjoying it, so I'd be curious to see what you think. Mark Russell always hits the right notes for me.
Always.
You said the first one.
First issue, yeah. I mean, keep reading if you like it. It might be down your alley. So
Yeah. Okay. I am buying it as we speak.
I think the final issue might have come out today, I believe, or next week, one of the
I
two.
think it's next week. I did see it.
Steve Lieber's real good.
I love
bought.
Steve Lieber.
And I am very excited because I already know what I'm going to pick. For
You got
my
one in the chamber.
tag. And we've been pretty tame, I think, for a comics tag.
I mean, I did have to watch the Spawn movie. That was
Listen, I'm about to pull the trigger
Oh boy.
on fucking around.
I have
And
go
y'all
ahead.
gonna get it.
I have a high degree of confidence it's going to be me.
Y'all remember I went to comic book school? I'm about to inflict some pain.
Oh
Ooh,
no.
no, that sounds like a me book.
It is. I will give you. It is going to be a Marco book, and
Yeah,
that's why
that's-
it's not
yep.
going to be Marco.
Ah, okay.
Oh
all right.
no! Wait, damn it!
Dude, you already inflicted pain on me, man. You made me read that Sandman shit.
No.
That's
no,
good,
no.
though.
That's
Come
good
on.
comics.
I did not like it.
Well, you're gonna like this a lot less.
you're gonna make him read Building Stories or something.
Fucking Chris Ware book.
Yeah.
Oh no, I would love that, and Sean would
Can
hate
you even
that.
get that digitally? Like, you just have to buy that, and
You won't
hope
like
you
it.
have room in your apartment for it. Although I do have Building Stories. It's a giant ass fucking.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a box. It's not even a book. It's a box with a whole bunch of little books inside of it. It's wild. Let's talk. We're gonna do some pals pulls. I guess the other thing didn't pop
Yeah.
up, but whatever. Sean, you had this on there.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
picked Batman Beyond the White Knight #1. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll know that this already came out. In fact, issue 2 came out this week. However, something happened with issue 1 that caused me to actually not be able to get it. Sean Gordon Murphy drove up the price of this book and caused it to sell out all over the place by saying that the first issue had been short printed accidentally.
Oh, I
So-
remember that. Yeah.
Once he said that, every comic shop sold out of it. And I happened to, I think I was on vacation or something like that. And I went to the shop like Thursday or whatever. and it was already gone. So I've been waiting for this. I am a huge fan of the White Knight series. I think it's been phenomenal. Can't wait for this next issue. So bummed I missed out on the first one. So now I have to get the second printing, but whatever. It's Sean Gordon Murphy. You guys know the deal. He's amazing. Can't wait.
And you also had Flashpoint Beyond #1.
Yeah. So we talked about the Zero issue, and that was insane. We saw a death. I won't spoil it for anybody who is looking to read that. We saw a wild death, and no black people. So Jeff Johns is in his element. But that was a setup. So now I want to see, does Jeff Johns have a story that's worth following for 7 issues? Or is this just a cash in on the fact that Flashpoint was 10 years ago? That's what I want to find out. So that's why I'm pulling this.
It almost feels like a poorly timed cash in on a Flashpoint movie that we might not see for even longer now.
Speaking of which, if I can, they delayed the Flash book that's supposed to be the bridge between Justice League and the Flash film. They delayed. Well, they didn't delay it. They canceled it. It's canceled for now. I'm not saying it'll never come out, but they canceled the orders that stores had put in. But it is actually it's previewed, and there's an ad for it in this week's books. So it's not even coming out, but there's an ad for it.
It's some WB stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yep, gotta love it.
I had Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird.
Nyla Rose.
So there's 2 reasons. So Nyla Rose, she is a former AEW Women's Champion, taking a stab at a relatively, I don't want to say unknown. Thunderbird's one of those characters where I feel like most people know of him. He's on the iconic Giant Size X-Men cover. But he doesn't have much of a history being alive. So he can be completely rewritten and reinvented. And Steve Orlando is working with Nyla Rose on this to do that. And I'm kind of curious about it. I've liked these giant size X-Men issues that we've been getting. So
is this a Rob Liefeld cover?
That's no, it is I don't know who it is, honestly.
Either Ken Lashley.
Oh, it's
or
Ken
David
Lashley.
J. Cutler.
I think it's Ken Lashley. Yeah.
It's very good.
And I also had Iron Man #19, which is the final issue of this arc that has been going on since the beginning. Christopher Cantwell's Iron Man story with Cafu on art, and it's been really damn good. Christopher Cantwell is one of those guys where I will follow this writer. He's been doing a lot of Marvel stuff. Specifically the Doctor Doom series he did about 2 years ago was fantastic. I'm really liking this Iron Man. It's pretty much Iron Man versus himself versus Korvac at the same time. And the supporting cast is Gargoyle, Hellcat, Ben Reilly, and Frogman.
Didn't Iron Man and Hellcat get married?
They will be in the
that
next
this run?
issue. That's the next issue. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Yep. Or at least he's proposing. And that's how they're selling the issue, I guess. But yeah, they have a bit of a romance going on in this. It's really interesting. It's a good character piece on Tony Stark, which it's distinctly not MCU Tony Stark, which I feel like is a kind of a pitfall that a lot of writers have gotten into recently. So I'm enjoying it. And,
This is a run that I'm going to pick up on.
Oh yeah, I think so. Marco, Little Monsters. Is this good yet?
Little Monsters, it's good, bro. I don't know what to tell you. It's Jeff Lemire doing really just very small character work, and that's exactly where I need him to be for the books that I pick up. The art is always phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough. Dustin Nguyen is trying something different, and I appreciate that. Black and white, all digital, no sort of classic watercolor gouache that he usually does, and so I'm enjoying it. It's a good book. I think if you like vampire stuff, it's a different spin because it's sort of post-apocalyptic as well. Whereas usually it's, I don't know, in a village or more old school. This is sort of in the future and a different environment. And I think it works for the story that he's trying to tell. I think this is the last issue too. I think it's only a short 3-issue series. So
Little story.
Yeah, very very small story.
Wild.
I was gonna ask you, Tyler, are you picking up the, what is it?
The Maze
The
book
other
hardcover?
No,
Oh,
the
okay.
the other Christopher Cantwell book, Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I will be picking that up. Yes, because it's camp.
Okay, it's Phil Noto doing, I think, art. Is that right?
Yeah, I know.
Or is he just doing covers?
He might just be doing covers because I think Phil Noto got announced for another book.
Okay, if that's the case,
Noto's
that
doing
was
the
pulling-
the Gail Simone book coming out with Jessica Jones.
If that's
The
the case,
variants,
I might pick this up then, because I thought Phil Noto was doing the art, and I
You
cannot.
do not like Phil Noto.
I don't.
It's Ariel and Andito on art.
Oh fuck it, I'm gonna pick it up.
You rather somebody you've never heard of before than Phil Noto.
And Phil Noto, absolutely, 100%.
Damn.
Dude,
At
I
least
could,
you know what you like and you know what you don't like. So
whatever that one X-Men issue we read for X of Swords, I could not swallow it.
you shouldn't. That's a lot of paper.
I read digital actually.
Oh, Kristen
even-
in the chat. Welcome. Thank you for
even
joining.
more.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Wow.
But yeah, Kale, you didn't pull anything. So
No, light week for me.
Yeah.
But it's new comic book day, free comic book day next week. So I will be at my comic shop buying, I don't know, maybe Spider-Man Beyond. That's what I'm thinking.
your yearly trip to
Yep.
Mecca. Yep.
Yep.
Kale, I know you didn't pick anything, but if you're interested, there's a book called Changes of Heart. It's a manga. It's a romance slice of life book. I'm gonna read you the description. After being dumped by her boyfriend, Koyori went to her longtime friend Hijiri's house to drink away her sorrow and ended up spending the night with him. Not only that, he tells her he loves her, and she's not sure how to reconcile with the new development with somebody she's known since they were kids. After all, stakes are high. If things don't work out, she'll hurt one of her closest friends. And to make matters worse, her ex wants to patch things up. Koyori needs to figure out what she wants before she loses it all. Come on.
Bro, I'm already living that through your DMs. I don't need that.
All right.
You're giving Kale the slice of life already. I thought Kale would be pulling what is it next week? It's Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Alpha #1.
You think
You know
he would
what?
pull that?
I don't actually like I like Spider-Man 2099 as a concept. I don't like the actual books.
Let me sell you further. It's written
All
by
right,
Steve
let's hear it.
Orlando.
Sorry?
It's written by Steve Orlando.
Oh, no, hard pass.
No, thank you.
All right.
Tyler,
got-
was that an actual attempt to sell him? 'Cause-
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I would
I
if
was
I
like,
wanted
wait
to
a
sell him, I would have said it has Ghost Rider 2099 on the cover. That's the way you sell it. He's got a
It
chainsaw
is?
hand.
You don't know.
Ghost
Kale.
Rider 20. Yo, Ghost Rider anything is a selling point
For Kale.
for anything. Anyone. You add Ghost Rider to anything, it's instantly good.
You're in a weird area.
I'll dip into a Ghost Rider, but not for Steve Orlando.
I've been jonesing to watch the Nick Cage Ghost Rider movies. I watched the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent over the weekend, and I'm in a Cage mood.
Matt Murphy says my yearly argument with Sean on having to buy a book on Free Comic Book Day is coming. I'm not sure what that means.
Do you go to Free Comic Book Day and you don't buy books, Sean?
I mean, I buy a book. Literally, I don't go to the comic shop and not buy a book. I
Yeah.
buy a book every single time I go to the comic shop.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Matt has he has a distinct hatred for the people who just go and get the free books and leave.
Oh, that's shitty.
Oh, okay. Is that the issue? I mean, who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah.
Like, people have money, they don't have money. Like, people spend their money how they need to. Speaking of which, you can spend your money on the Comics Pals if you would like, and support us on Patreon. How could you come and listen to this podcast and not support it? What's wrong with you? Just joking. I'm completely kidding. Patreon.com/the Comics Pals. We have various tiers for every level of fandom, depending on, you know, what your interest is, what you want to get out of it. We've covered all bases. If you want to get your name shouted out on the show, I highly recommend the I Shall Become a Pal tier, the $10 tier. We've got a lot of cool stuff. We've got the newsletter. Marco's newsletter's up there now. The first episode of Palin Around. Lots of cool stuff. Read your newsletter, Marco. Is very good. We'll talk about that again on the main show.
you.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Sean.
Interrupt me, please.
I want to get it out there. The patrons also at the $7 tier or above have access currently to the Doctor Strange the Oath book club. That is up there.
Yes. Yes. The
Early
Doctor
done.
Strange the Oath book club is out there. It's early access for you to enjoy. Hopefully you guys get a kick out of that. And it gives you an opportunity to prepare for the movie earlier than everybody else. Because obviously the way to prepare is to listen to us talk about a comic book. Twitch.tv/The Comics Pals every single Thursday to catch this show live, 6 p.m. Eastern. Start your weekend with the Comics Pals by joining us on Saturdays for the main show at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. It's early, we know, but you get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a little breakfast. Come listen to us tell some jokes, some dick jokes, and
Is that on the
about-
docket this week? On the dicket this week?
Oh God, what is
Well
this
done.
show?
That was long. That was low hanging. Sorry.
Drooping almost.
I have a fever, so who knows? But
This is devolving at a rapid rate. YouTube.com/The Comics Pals. Hit that subscribe button. If you only listen to us on Twitch or podcast hosting platforms, just head on over, subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Like the latest video at least. Just helps us out a lot. Algorithms and whatnot. We got to play the game, and you help us win. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week or Saturday if you'll be joining us. Happy Free Comic Book Day, I say ahead of time. If you can't make it because you're going over there, if you can afford to spend a few shekels at the comic shop as you pick up your free books, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. We're the Comics Pals signing off. Until then, take care, guys.
Ooh, on mute. See you next
like
week.
an asshole.
oh man, I was ready for it, and I was like,
Same. We're sitting there.
Go ahead, Cal. Go ahead.
See you next week.
There we go. Okay.